In this video, we're going to lay out the screw holes for the bookend base. You notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes that are going to be drilled through this block that are going to be used to attach the front piece. The screws will come from the bottom up into the front, and to attach to the bracket, the screws will come up from the bottom to attach to the bottom of the bracket as well. So we need to know where exactly to put those holes. So to do this, again, you're working with your 1/2-inch scale, and we need to establish the center lines for where these holes are going to be placed. So the first set of holes are going to be a 1/2 inch in from the very end, and then it'll be placed 1 inch, 2 inches, 4 and 5 inches from the top edge. This is to keep in mind that the front of the bookend will be 1 inch thick. So this 1/2 inch distance over for the center line is the center of the front of the bookend. This way the screws are right in the middle of the part. So I'm measuring over 1/2 inch. I put a mark. I'm going to draw a light construction line through my part. I'm then going to place my ruler on my sheet, and along that center line I can mark the 1 inch, the 2 inch, the 4 and the 5, and while I'm at it, I'm going to actually mark the 3 inches, which is going to be the center line for the horizontal center line that's going to be for the other 3 holes. What I'm going to do through those marks is draw my center lines. I have a double mark, so I should check which one is my actual measurement. This lower mark. This is my 3 inch center line. That's going to go all the way through my part. Now, we can go ahead and draw our holes in place. In reality, we're going to be using a number 8 wood screw. The top of the wood screw, we need to accommodate the top of the screw, we need a hole that is 5/32 in diameter. That's the width or the diameter of the top of the screw. Because we're drawing on a half scale and we're using the circle template, 5/32 hole is the 1-to-1 true size of the hole. We need to cut that in half, which would be 5/64. So you're going to use the 5/64 hole in the circle template to draw these half scale holes. Line the template up as best you can on these center lines, and with a sharp pencil point, keep the point of the pencil in between the corner of the template and the paper to get the most accurate sized hole. I have my 4 scaled 5/32 holes drilled through my block now. For the other 3, the holes that will assemble into the bracket of the bookend, I need to mark those out. Those are 1.5 inches, and so what I'm going to do is put the 1/2 inch marking on the end of my base, and then I can measure 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. Those increments all start from the end of the block, and are with a 1/2 inch marking on the end, allow me to easily mark out all 3 measurements without moving my ruler. Again, I've drawn my center lines. These are just construction lines at this point. And then I can come back with my template again and use the 5/64 hole. Again, they are 5/32 in real size, 1:1 scale, but because this is a half scale, I've scaled it down, and I'm using the 5/64 hole on the template. I've got those 3 holes marked. All 7 of my holes being marked now, I can come back and I can mark these with center lines. So if I do my vertical lines first, I draw my vertical center marks. Go through these 3 as well. I'm just tracing over the existing center lines that I've drawn in as construction lines already, so I don't need to measure again. Then I'll come back and do my horizontal center lines. The importance of these center lines is that it will give me something to dimension to in my next step. See, I have a center line running through the middle of the part. My center line does run through each of these holes, vertically and horizontally. The next step is going to be for me to dimension where all these locations are at.